Hey everybody, it's Debbie with Debbie D Stamp Studio. Welcome to Facebook Live Tuesday at 2. Today I have a background stamp to share with you, which I just realized I didn't grab the case. It's right here behind me. So this is the Flowers Fair stamp that is going to be available in March. It is a really pretty background stamp that just kind of spoke to me when I saw it for the demonstrator pre-order. As a demonstrator, we have the opportunity to order things about a month before they become available so that we can prepare and show you fun things that you can do with the new things coming available. And so I have one card to make for you today and then some other samples to show you of how you can use this stamp. So let's go ahead and make our card, and then I will show you the other ones that I have, showing you some different, I guess, techniques of ways to use that stamp. So I have a Secret C card base, and then I have a Summer Splash layer, basic white that we're stamping on, and other pieces of basic white. Let's see. I'm not going to put this together yet. We're just going to do our stamping first. Gonna get this out of the way. So I have mounted my stamp on my big F block. You can mount it on your block, or you can use your Stampin' positioner. Either way works really great. I just decided to use my block today because I'm going to be doing stamping a couple different times. So for this one, I'm going to lay my block on my table and then ink it up with my Memento. And just a reminder that this is not the typical Memento ink pad that we sell. I purchased the blank ink pad with the craft white refill, but instead of refilling it with the craft white, I refilled it with my Memento so that I could have a full-size ink pad. And I really like having that full-size ink pad. I still have my regular Memento ink pad as well, and I do use it once in a while, but I really like this one. So by laying this on the table and inking it up this way, I can see that I have the whole image inked up well. And let me put I have a little piece of grid paper here, and put my piece of cardstock that I'm going to stamp on here. And I'm going to turn this just a little bit just so I can see where I'm stamping. And I'm going to lay this on here, and my ink is a little bit sticky, so it picks up my cardstock. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and lay that back down on the table, and then lay my grid paper on top of that and give that a nice rub. That way I know that my image is going to be stamped really well on that cardstock. So then I can just take this off, and I have a really nice image on my basic white. I'm going to go ahead and clean my stamp off. I've just got my chamois. Just clean that off really quickly and set that aside. Okay, so now for this one, I'm going to be coloring this in with my blends, and I decided to use the 5 in colors, the 2024-2026 in colors that are going to be retiring soon. I love these colors. The whole color palette I think is just so pretty. That consists of the Pretty in Pink, Peach Pie, Shy Shamrock, Summer Splash, and Petunia Pop. So for this card, I've used all 5 of those in colors. I'm going to miss those, But with retiring colors, that means 5 new colors are coming out, and that's always exciting as well. So for this one, I'm not, let's see, I'm going to color the big flowers with my Pretty in Pink. I'm going to start with my light, and I'm going to use my brush end and just color in the flowers. And I'm going to try to avoid going over that black ink, like coloring over and over that ink, just because this is a freshly inked piece, and sometimes that memento can smear a little bit. So I'm going to go just around the outline of that and just color. And it's okay, I'm going to leave just a little bit of white around there, because once I get this flower colored in with my light, I'm going to go back and add an accent with my dark. So I'm just going to follow those lines that are in that stamp and highlight that with the dark. So that helps fill in those white spaces. Okay, so actually I should have grabbed, so you don't have to sit and watch me color the whole entire thing. I've colored one ahead of time, and I should have done that on here. So this is my light. So again, I'm going to just color the flower pretty quickly. Doesn't have to be super neat. And like I said, I don't mind if a little bit of the white shows. I kind of like that look. Okay. And I did the same with the leaves. I used my light Shy Shamrock, that's my dark, and I did use the brush end and just follow the outline of the leaf. And then with the dark and the brush end, just color that highlight, and then I'll color these little leaves as well. And then I need to add my dark highlights on my little flower here. I don't think I did any of these actually. We'll go back and add all these. And that just also adds dimension to your image. Just adding that little bit of highlight in there. Oh, there's another leaf I need to do. Okay. And then the smaller flowers I colored with my light Petunia Pop. And I'll add my accent with my dark. Okay. Let me fill in this leaf real quick here. Again, just with the brush end of the light. And then I'll go back and add my accents. I think I left that to show you how to do that, or how I did that. I just think it really adds a lot of dimension to your card. Did I get them all? If not, that's okay. And then the same with the dark Petunia Pop. We'll add the little accents to the flowers. And then the centers, I've used the Peach Pie. So that is 4 of the colors in the Stampin' Blends. And then the 5th color is our layer of Summer Splash. Okay, so there is that. So now, instead of just adding this the way it is to our card front, I'm gonna cut it. I know, after all your hard work coloring, it's kind of hard to cut, but it gives it a nice effect. So I'm gonna cut this at 1 1/4 and this at 1 1/4. And then we're going to put it back together on our card. So now we can glue this to the front of our card. And I'm just going to lay these on here first to get my spacing, and then I will press them down. Okay. So the middle piece is a little bit smaller than the outside too. That's why I cut the 2 outside ones. I cut those the same, and then whatever the middle one worked out to be is fine. Okay, so now I need to straighten this one up. Get a hold of it. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we can go ahead and press that down. And now I wanted to add some twine, but I wanted petunia pop twine, and we don't have petunia pop twine. So I took a piece of white baker's twine and I made it petunia pop. So did you know that you can color your baker's twine and make it any color that you want? So I just took my dark petunia pop and the brush tip and my white baker's twine and just ran it under the brush tip and colored my baker's twine. So, and then set that aside to dry because it does take a second. And so I had about a 24-inch piece that I colored. So now I have petunia pop baker's twine to coordinate with my card. So I'm going to wrap this around twice. And I need a little more on this end. And I'm going to tie it on this end. And for some reason, I'm not quite sure, after you color the baker's twine, it kind of makes it a little bit stiffer, which is funny. I don't know why, but it is. Kind of makes it a little bit easier to work with, I think. So I'm just going to tie that in a knot first. And now I can add this to the front of my card. So let's go ahead and add that to the front of the card. You can go right over that baker's twine with your Stampin' seal. And then this just centers. Okay, Set that aside for a second. Now I have a scrap of basic white, and for my sentiment, I grabbed the Simply Said and the birthday wishes from that, and I'm going to use my Memento Black again and ink that up and just stamp that right in the center. Oh, I just inked up my ink pad. I love that. Nice and bold. And clean that off. And then I'm going to cut that out with my stylish shape dies into a circle. And I wanted something behind there, so it wasn't just white on white. And with the stylish shapes, there's a little banner. So I thought, well, that would be cute just to put that behind there, just to give it a little something. So we're going to add that. Just put our saying right on that little banner. And then we'll add this to the front with dimensionals. Okay, and then we can tie our baker's twine. You can leave it in a knot if you'd like, or tie it in a bow if you've made it long enough. I did 24 inches, and that was about perfect. Okay, trim those tails off, or turn that. Yeah, we can turn that. We still need to trim our tails off a little bit. Oh. Okay. And then carrying through with our in colors, I have the in color flat pearls. These are the coordinating 24, 26 in colors. And I thought I would use the Petunia Pop to bring out those little flowers. And so we're going to use those on here. We're going to use a lot of them. Well, 5. I guess that's a lot. And put a couple up here in the white space to show up. Okay. Give that a fold and a crease. So there's that. Stamping and coloring with your Stampin' blends. Like I said, I love that color palette. That's using all of the 5 retiring in colors, which they'll be around for a little bit longer, but retiring pretty soon. Okay, so the next ones I have just samples basically to show you. I didn't have time to get everything all together to make all the cards for you. So here's just stamping the background and then putting a sentiment on top. And I basically just cased the samples that were available, and you'll see when these come available in March online. But this is using Peach Pie, and I just stamped the background. And then I happen to have these little strips just sitting on my desk, so I used Peach Pie, Summer Splash, and then Gray Granite, and then another sentiment from the Simply Said, the Happy Birthday, and I embossed that with white embossing powder, and then used the Peach Pie flat pearls that coordinate with that. So you could do that in any color. Just grab 3 colors that look good with your base and stamp away, and you could make a whole bunch of cards really quickly. Change up your sentiment. So that would be a really quick card to make a whole bunch of. So I love that. Fun and easy. And then another idea would be to stamp on designer series paper. And this is a new designer series paper also coming out in March. This is the Wood Grain Wonders designer series paper. And this, I love the wood grain, and it's not overbearing. It's small. They're all the same pattern of wood grain in 4 different colors. There's basic beige, crumb cake, pecan pie, and early espresso. And you get 3 each of 4 different, they are double-sided. So you get a lot of wood grain, but I like it that it's small and not overpowering, so it's perfect for stamping on and then coloring. And again, I just colored a couple of the flowers. You don't need to color them all. And add a sentiment, and again some of those coordinating flat pearls. And this one I just added some linen thread. So super easy. Again, you could use different colors, any colors that you wanted. So that is a fun card too. I can see making a lot of those. And then another idea, I didn't have a chance to even get this card put together, but another idea would be to stamp your background, color it in, and stamp it again, and then fussy cut one or several of the images, the flowers, and then highlight one of those on the front of your card. So you can see they're pretty easy to fussy cut. Doesn't take long. Normally I like to prep on Monday for my live on Tuesday. It wasn't a very nice day here yesterday, and my husband decided he wanted to go take a drive. So we did, and we were gone most of the day. So I didn't get to prep. So I just prepped this morning, which is fine. That's why I cased the samples that Stampin' Up! Gave me. That makes my job super easy. So then you can use your dimensionals and fussy cut and just highlight. You could do just one or a couple of those flowers and put this on the front of a card, add a sentiment, and there you go. You have a card ready to go. So I love that idea. And you can also, another way to highlight would be to stamp and color, and then use a punch and highlight just an area. Or actually what I would do is stamp one in just your black, and then stamp another one and color that one and punch that out and highlight that part just over. Maybe I can show you that. Well, I don't. Well, hold on one second. I will show you. So, I'll show you what I mean, because I can't seem to convey it through my words. So we'll stamp or ink up our stamp. And then we will lay it on our paper. Pick that up and get our grid paper. Rub that all over. And take that off. And then we'll do that again. Ink that up. Pick up our paper. Rub that all over. Take that off. Okay, we've got our images all nice and ready to go. Okay, clean that off. And then let's do some coloring. We'll pick one of the flowers, and let's see, I've got my pretty in pink, so we'll start with our light. And let's do this flower. Hopefully I can get my punch in there. Maybe we should just do, yeah, we'll do this flower. So we'll color with our light. Pretty in pink. Doing it quickly so you don't have to sit and watch me color all day. Okay. And then, do I have Shy Shamrock? Yes, Shy Shamrock light. We'll do the leaf. Well, I don't know how much of the leaf will show, but we'll color it anyway. We'll do the little part of the flower there. We'll add our highlight with dark. And another highlight with dark on our leaf. Let's just add a little bit down there. Okay, let me grab a punch. That one's big. Hopefully this one's big enough. And then we'll punch out our flower. Let's see. So let's go ahead and finish coloring the flowers that are showing. I have my Daffodil Delight here, so we'll color this one since it shows. And we'll do the leaves that are showing. These little leaves. And even though it's just the tips, we're going to color them. I think that's a flower, but we're going to pretend it's a leaf. And we're still going to add highlights, even though it's just the tips. Highlight that one again. And then we need a center for our flower, so we'll use our dark Daffodil Delight. And add our little highlights. So then when we make our card, we would pop this up on the front of our card so that it would show up. Let me just add a dimensional on there so you can see how that would look. So you just line that up however it lines up. Nope, that's not where it would go. The tip of that leaf and that flower. There we go. So then you could have your layers of cardstock behind there and add your sentiment, and then you have a pretty little highlighted area on your card. So that's another idea for that stamp set. Love it. So lots of different ideas for that one stamp. Love that, love that, love that. Okay, so there's just stamping and adding a sentiment, stamping on designer series paper and adding a sentiment, coloring a little bit, and then coloring and cutting it apart and adding a sentiment. So there you go. That is Flowers Fair stamp that's going to be available in March. So hope you enjoyed that today. I loved working with that stamp. A lot of times I don't get the background stamps, but this one just spoke to me this time. So like I said, I love it. Okay, so February is almost over. So if you have bonus days coupons, just a few more days to use those and redeem them. February 28th is the last day to use those. Also, what else is happening? Product of the month. That actually goes through March 2nd, I believe. Kind of weird, but since February is a short month, they extended that a little bit longer. But if you don't redeem or get your product of the month, and it's still available, you can always get it the following month. That's if it's still available. So the join offer is still going on. If you love that stamp positioner and you want to get it for free, you can join Stampin' Up! In the next few days, and that will be added to your starter kit for free. So I think that's it for February. So we'll see what happens in March. And yeah, so anyway, that is Flowers Fair, available in March. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you all again very soon. Thanks. Bye.